Hello guys, Mystagophobia. Another Division 2 video today. I've made a Division video about the Breaking Point gear set, the new one in Year 6 Season 1. This is my iteration of my rifle build that I use. You guys might like it, so give it a go if you do. But if you like my content guys, like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So the gear set is called Breaking Point. This is the holster. 2-piece is 25% rifle damage and 25% marksman rifle damage. That's a bit of hefty damage. 3-piece is 30% headshot damage and 15% weapon handling. I don't understand why you'd need weapon handling because of what you get on the 4-piece, but whatever. And then the actual talent bonuses you get for 4-piece is on point, hitting a shot with a rifle or marksman rifle. Grants a stack, max stack is equal to the weapon's magazine. Reloading will grant 2% weapon handling and 4% weapon damage per stack for 10 seconds. No stacks are required while the bonuses are active. The timer running out will refill your magazine. Switching weapons while the bonuses are active will stop the effect and refill your magazine. Switching weapons while the bonuses are not active will remove all stacks and refill your magazine, which is pretty good. This is why the reason I'm not using a ridiculously big magazine is because you won't have enough time in 10 seconds to say spam the button 50 times and hit your shots. This is why I've got like a medium mag, so that you've got your damage bonus and your weapon handling bonuses active more often. This is how I'm running my build, but you can change this build how you want. But the core attribute is a blue. The attribute is 11.2% critical hit damage. So our second piece of gear are the knee pads, Breaking Point again. Core attribute is a blue. The attribute is 11.2% critical hit damage. So the gloves of Breaking Point, the core attribute is 14.7% weapon damage and 12% critical hit damage. And for the 4th piece I'm using is the backpack, surprisingly. But the reason I'm using the backpack is because you get the bonus Point of Honor, increase on point weapon damage bonus from 4% to 6%, which is pretty good. The core attribute is 13.6% weapon damage, attributes are 12% critical hit damage, and the mod is 6% critical hit chance. Reason I'm using the backpack is because I already have a load of survivability, and with this I just get more damage, which I already have loads of damage, and I have 4 blue cores. So the chest piece I'm using is a Seska piece, which the first piece is 10% critical hit chance. Core attribute is a blue. The attributes are 6% critical hit chance, 9.7% critical hit damage, and the mod is 6% critical hit chance. And the talent is focus, increases total weapon damage by 5% every second you are aiming, while scoped 8 times or higher up to 50%. Which, if you want to change this, I'd recommend something like Unbreakable, Spotter maybe, if you want to change the weapon, because I have a weapon that not many people use, but this is how I like to run my build, and it hits like a truck, you'll see in the gameplay. But the crit chance that I want, because obviously you need max crit chance, and you can replace this with the named Araldi piece, Perfect Focus, which gives you 10% more weapon damage with focus, and it gives you marksman rifle damage, which is something to do with the new gear set, because you get marksman rifle damage with it. But that's up to you if you change it. Reason I didn't is because I want more crit chance. So the final piece of gear that I'm using is the Catharsis exotic mask. Reason I'm using this is because it's a bit more survivability and it's a bit more damage. The core attribute is a blue. I've got expertise on it, but ignore that. Attribute is 19% income repairs and armor regen, so a tiny bit more survivability. We have 6% critical hit chance mod. And the talent, if you don't have this mask yet, is Vicious Cycle. Taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack grants 1% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, and then dropping a healing cloud which restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. So this is like just a win-win, because when you take damage you'll get weapon damage, and when obviously it's done 30, you get a healing cloud, which we run in the specialization gunner, so we get 10% armor on kill as well, so that's a bit more survivability. So I thought instead of a flat out DPS build, I'd mix it up a little bit. But that's my final piece of gear. And then my first skill is the Reviver Hive. This is what I don't really use this normally, but the Reviver Hive I've been using. You can change these skills like whatever you want. You can run the repairs drone if you want to, if you want more survivability. And then I'm using the assault turret for my second skill. I'm tier 0 because I have no skill tiers, but I'm only using this to distract the enemies, so you have more time to get your headshots, you know, so it's a lot easier. Those are the mods I have on the turret. And then the primary weapon that I'm using, a lot of people might not agree with this weapon, but I actually prefer to use this weapon because mouse and keyboard, like I've said before, mouse is way easier to aim. Like you'll see my aim in the gameplay, which I've got pretty good aim, not perfect, but this gun is really good for me. If you want to replace it, I'd replace it with an M1A with Lucky Shot, so you get more ammo in your mag with that talent, and whatever shots you miss, they come back to your mag, so you'll always get max stacks out of that magazine, if that makes sense. So console players, if you don't have the best aim, I'd recommend an M1A rifle with Lucky Shot, but if you're on PC, just try out the Artist tool, because the amount of damage you get from that gear set and the mask and focus at the same time is kind of ridiculous, considering I've got 4 blue cores. So if you change this around to 6 red cores, it'll do even more damage. So 15% rifle damage, 16% crit clip damage, 10% damage targets out of cover, and the talent that I'm using with this weapon is Perfect Rifleman. Landing headshots adds a stack bonus of 11% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Max stack is 6. Additional headshots refresh the duration, which I actually like this talent. I can easily proc it with the mouse. But if you don't like this, like I said, Lucky Shot with an M1A or an MDR rifle. But those are the mods that I've got on the gun. Crit chance, and it comes default with crit damage rifles, so that's good. So if you have a crit build, and my mag is 20 because I don't see the point of making a 50 capacity mag, because by the time you've got them stacks, you've probably cleared that room, and then when you reload, most likely you're not hitting the trigger 50 times in 10 seconds, like hitting every single shot. So I ran the 20 mag, so I've got the bonuses more consistent and sooner, but that's just me. So with the secondary, I'm running the new named Super 90 shotgun called Light Glue. So the core is 14.7% shotgun damage, 11% damage to armor, and 10% damage targets out of cover. And the talent is Perfect Brazen. Receive 3% amplified damage on the next shot with the weapon for each pellet that hits the target. If at least 4 pellets hit, killing an enemy will provide 8% amplified damage on the next shot, which this is actually really good. Not as good as Pummel, but I wouldn't recommend Pummel with this build because it's not a shotgun based build, this what I'm making here. But those are the mods I have: crit chance, reload speed. But this gun actually hits really hard. You can replace this gun with a marksman rifle if you want to, like the Dread Edict or the Mantis. That's completely up to you. And then the pistol I use is the Regulus. Unfortunately, you can only get this from the Iron Horse raid from completing it multiple times, but it's basically the best pistol in the whole game. And then core attribute is 15% pistol damage, 10% damage targets out of cover, and the talent, if you want to know, is Regicide. Headshot kills create a 5-meter explosion, dealing 400% weapon damage and applying bleed to all enemies hit. And those are the mods there. This pistol, if you make the right build, is absolutely ridiculous, the amount of damage that you can do with it. So the overall build is 4-piece breaking point, backpack, gloves, knee pads, and holster. And then the chest piece is Seska for the crit chance, yeah, and focus, which gives us 50% weapon damage. And then the mask is Catharsis because you get healing and you get weapon damage. And then the weapon is Artist Tool, you get 66% weapon damage if you can hit your shots. And then the secondary gun is Light Glue, does a load of amplified damage, so it's a good shotgun. And pistol is the Regulus. So altogether we do loads and loads of damage. We have 4 blue cores, you can change this to 6 blues or to like 6 reds, whatever you want. This is just the way I like it, and so far it's efficient, this build, it gets the job done. So we have Gunner as well, so we get 10% armor on kill, we get healing from the mask, and we get damage from the chest and the gear set and the mask. So it's a all around good build. I'll show you the stats now, guys. We have a revive hive and a turret. So these are the stats. We have 49% critical chance. You can bump that up to 50 odd or 60 if you replace the crit damage attributes, but I thought 50 is pretty good. And then crit damage is 117%. It doesn't sound high, but because of all the talents working together and stuff, you have loads of damage anyway. 152% headshot damage. And armor on kill is only 150,000. That's because of the 10% armor on kill from Gunner. I'll scroll down the rest for you. So the specialization that I'm using is the Gunner specialization. Reason I'm using Gunner really is just the 10% armor on kill, just survivability, and like I said, you have the mask as well, which gives you a healing cloud for 10 seconds, and it's always nice to get your ammo back every 60 seconds, 10%, so basically my ammo just doesn't run out. Weapon handling, you don't really need that, 10% weapon handling. The main thing we're doing as well is 15% increased rifle damage, 15% increased shotgun damage, and 15% increased sidearm damage. But that's my build that I've put together for the breaking point rifle gear set. I think this is an efficient way you can play. Try the build out, guys, and see what you think of it, or let me know in the comments what you think of the build. But my overall thoughts of the gear set is you don't get the bonuses enough. I think it should work a different way, like instead of when you reload it's just 10 seconds, it should like deplete, and then after when it's depleting, if you get your stacks back up you get your damage again, or it should work a different way. I don't think you get the bonuses enough. Like for example with Striker, you always have the damage. Same with Aces of Eights, the gear set. I know not many people use it. You get a lot of damage from that gear set. Same as Hotshot, that does a load of damage. You don't have to do something, like, and then you only get it for 10 seconds. But let me know what you think of the gear set in the comments. I think it's decent. It's not the best. I don't think I'll be using it that much, but I'll probably try and make a PvP build out of it for you guys. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and happy hunting.